The moment I saw Clara, a feeling I hadn't experienced in years surfaced. It had been a decade. After a month of intense, isolated work, I had finally identified a new type of radioactive particle. Exhausted and looking like I hadn't slept in a week, I'd come to this small, worn-down diner for a quick meal. Clara and Mark had just come from what looked like an engagement party, both of them polished and radiating success. "Leo, long time no see," Mark said, a wide smile on his face. On the old television flickering in the corner, a news report was playing. Clara and Mark. City A's youngest entrepreneurial power couple, with a fortune that continues to grow. Clara frowned, then gestured to the owner. "Could you turn that up?" she asked, her voice cool and detached as her eyes fell on the greasy remote. "What's the matter? Don't you recognize us anymore, Leo?" Mark joked. "You can't have forgotten me already." I never understood why, after she became successful, she spent years trying to find me. I couldn't imagine why she would show up now, bringing with her the stack of love letters I wrote in high school. There were so many that Mark, standing behind her, had to hold the thick pile with both hands. 10 years apart, Leo. You've aged so much I barely recognized you," Clara said. "We should at least hug for old time's sake," Mark said, stepping forward. He pretended to stumble, letting go of the letters, which scattered across the worn linoleum floor. Seeing them at her feet, Clara deliberately stepped on a few with her expensive-looking heels. "Luckily, Clara saw the light in this life. These shoes are worth more than you and your parents' lives combined," Mark sneered. I had been working for days without a break, fueled by little more than coffee. I was so tired I could barely lift the noodles to my mouth, and I certainly didn't have the energy to argue. "How about a handshake instead?" Mark said with a fake smile, extending his hand. "Don't be ungrateful, Leo. I'm only here because Clara insisted. With my status now, one word from me and you wouldn't even be able to get a job sweeping streets in this city." "That's enough, Mark," Clara said, waving his hand away dismissively. "Are you really that dirty?" she asked, looking me over with disgust. "Do you know what he does now? What if he passes on some disease? Do you want me and the baby to get sick?" Even though I had spent a decade telling myself that a failed relationship didn't define a life, the sight of her hand resting lovingly on her pregnant belly made my eyes burn. In our previous life, Clara and I had a child. We lost the baby at 5 months due to what I was told was an accident. I was working 4 jobs at the time, trying to save enough to buy her a designer handbag she wanted, and I missed her call for help. I spent years drowning in guilt, letting her control my life because of it. It wasn't until after I died that I learned the truth. The child was lost during a tryst with Mark. Clara had called me, knowing I'd be too busy to answer, just to create a convenient story. "Mr. Chen, can I get another bowl of noodles?" I called out, trying to snap back to the present. I wiped my mouth and stretched. "Your company seems to have a lot of complex business deals." I thought my sarcasm would make her leave, but instead, her eyes seemed to redden. She sat down in the booth across from me, ignoring the grime on the vinyl seat. "After all these years, you haven't changed a bit, Leo," she said, a hint of nostalgia in her voice. "You could never fix that jealous, spiteful nature of yours. Just let the past go. It wasn't your fault you loved me." "Yeah, Leo, I should thank you," Mark chimed in. "Without you, I'd never have met Clara. And without you dying, she wouldn't have been reborn with all those memories to help me conquer the business world. Living through it all twice finally made me understand. Some people are just born rotten. Mark's parents died when he was young, and my mother raised him like her own son. Instead of gratitude, he spent his life trying to sabotage me. He locked me in a storage room before our college entrance exams. After I found a decent job, he'd show up with his friends to cause trouble, costing me one position after another. Once I finish this deal with the Sterling family, I can finally take a break and get ready for the baby," Clara said, turning her attention back to me. "Leo, would you like a chance to see me every day? You can be my personal assistant. I'll pay you 20 times what you make here." I looked down at myself, confused by her offer. I was wearing faded work pants and heavy rain boots. The only thing of value on me was the belt I'd grabbed in a hurry this morning. Clara's arrogance was blinding, and given my current appearance, I couldn't entirely blame her for the misunderstanding. "As your wife in a past life, I feel a duty to warn you. Don't be so vain," she said, pointing at my waist. She pulled a tissue from her purse and frantically wiped the finger that had gestured toward me. "These kinds of luxury goods are beyond your reach." "What do you mean, make here?" Mr. Chen said, bringing my fresh bowl of noodles to the table. I could never afford to hire Leo. This young man has a good heart. He worries about me being alone, so he comes by for noodles as an excuse to keep an old man company. Mr. Chen gestured across the street. Leo is a top student. He works in that building right over there. The diner was located directly across from a high-security research laboratory. Because the work was classified, the area was quiet and the grounds were overgrown with weeds, giving it a slightly desolate feel. Across the street? Picking up trash? Or maybe you're a security guard? Mark laughed, barely covering his mouth. Come on, Leo, you're pathetic. Do you see the S on your belt buckle? That's the Sterling family emblem. A supposed high achiever like you doesn't even know how to do a simple search online? Honestly, I'm reconsidering if you're even fit to be a nanny for my son. Young man, you're being too harsh, Mr. Chen said, shaking his head. Leo, he's not what you think he is. Mr. Gozen Antation. Chen was a respected figure in our old neighborhood, and I had never hidden my profession from him. But since I worked for the government, there was little he could say publicly. Did you stage this little act for us, Leo? Mark's eyes narrowed. I get it. You're pretending to be pitiful to make Clara feel sorry for you, but you underestimate her love for me. And this old man? Just a hired actor, because you can't admit how far apart we've grown. He pulled a red, gilded invitation from his pocket and waved it in my face. What's the use of studying? You always acted so high and mighty, but you never got an invitation like this. Want to come with me to visit our old principal? Back then, he'd praise you and yell at me. I bet he regrets that now. My hand, reaching for my chopsticks, froze. I started patting my pockets, searching for something. Are you looking for this? Mark asked. He unfolded a black and gold business card he had somehow taken from me. As I stood up, he tore it in half with a grin. Oops, my hand slipped. You won't mind, will you, Leo? Before I could say a word, Clara spoke up. Mark, why are you bullying him? She complained. After graduation, the university would occasionally invite me back to give guest lectures. To make things easier, the principal had given me a special identification card. It wasn't particularly valuable, but I happened to need it for a meeting later today. Clara! You're scolding me for this loser? It's just a piece of paper. You didn't complain when I threw away that cheap trinket he gave you. No, Clara said, her expression hardening. She shot me a cold look. Stop staring. Don't get any ideas. I just think he's already in such a miserable state, there's no need for us to lower ourselves to his level. Seeing Mark was still upset, she softened her tone. Mark, haven't you always wanted to prove you're 1,000 times better than him? I'll call a few old classmates to come to the school event. Leo can come along as a point of comparison. She made the decision for me, confident in her power over me. You wouldn't refuse, would you? The thought of having to bother the principal for a ride was annoying. A free chauffeur in a private car was an opportunity too good to pass up. Of course, I said with a nod. Hearing my agreement, Mark's expression finally relaxed. He pulled Clara into a long, dramatic kiss right in front of me. Excuse me, I said, interrupting them. Let me go change my clothes. Still pretending you work at this noodle shop? What normal person changes clothes in a place like this? Clara pursed her lips, her eyes filled with disappointment. She turned to stare out the window. I know it must be humiliating for you to be in this state, but there's no need to lie to us. Your parents have been gone for 3 years now. In this world, I'm the closest person you have. How about this? I won't make you go just to be a backdrop for Mark. I'll take you to buy a couple of new outfits. What did you say? She asked, turning back just as I finished getting ready. Sorry, I said, buttoning my clean shirt. I was busy changing and didn't catch that. Clara's words died in her throat when she saw me. Clara! Mark yelled, yanking her attention away. What are you looking at? Don't forget whose child is in your belly! He continued his tirade. I'm telling you, I'm not worried about getting married. The Sterling family's heiress still isn't married, and you still don't know why? All these companies want to partner with us, and they probably chose us because of me. I heard she's incredibly beautiful. I can't guarantee I'll be able to keep my composure. No, I was wrong, Mark. Please don't leave me, Clara pleaded. It seemed that even without my interference, their relationship wasn't as stable as I had imagined. In my previous life, they grew old together but never had children. This time, their child was on the way, but they weren't even married. I glanced at my watch. The time for my meeting was getting close, so I decided to get in their car first. Get out of here, Mark said, pulling me out of the passenger seat. I didn't bring you along to ride shotgun. Mark, he can go in the back, Clara interjected. Your sports car is the latest model. Someone like him wouldn't know how to drive it anyway. I glanced at the driver's seat. The cars in the Sterling family garage were far more advanced than this one, but Mark was clearly pleased with the comment. He slammed the passenger door shut with a proud smirk. Enjoy it. This is probably the only chance you'll get in your life to ride in a car like this. As Mark started the car, Clara turned and gave me what she probably thought was a reassuring smile. As we neared the university gates, I sent the principal a quick text. He had been waiting and had even arranged for a large banner to be hung over the entrance. Hey, Leo, your reading skills were always good. Go ahead and read what it says on that banner, Mark taunted. I told you to keep a low profile, Mark. Why is the principal making such a big deal? Clara said, pretending to be accustomed to such welcomes. Her grades had always been poor. In our past life, I had tutored her relentlessly just so she could scrape by and get into a university. This time, without my help, she had dropped out of high school, just like Mark. The car door opened. Mark adjusted his tie and walked past the principal, who was approaching me. Ah, you've finally arrived. Principal, I'm Mark, he said, his smile faltering as he watched the principal walk right toward me. Did you make a mistake? Wasn't the invitation for me and Clara? He was completely bewildered. You probably didn't expect this today, huh? Life really has its ups and downs. What did I tell you? I knew I'd make a grand comeback one day. The principal ignored him completely, patting me on the back. His face was a mixture of reproach and concern. You've lost weight again. If this continues, I'll have to seriously reconsider offering you the new project. I know you're stubborn, but you can't ignore your health. And if you don't care about yourself, what about Sophia? Principal, I'm the main character today, Mark shouted, just loud enough to drown out the last part of the principal's sentence. Oh, it's Mark, the principal said, finally acknowledging him. I didn't expect you and Clara to have changed so much. I also didn't expect the three of you to still be so close. Go ahead and find a seat in the auditorium. The speech will be starting soon. I had never told the principal about the complicated history between me, Mark, and Clara. He just assumed we were still the inseparable trio from our school days. A flicker of awkwardness crossed Clara's face. She glanced at me quickly before lowering her gaze, lost in thought. Mark wanted to ask who was giving the speech, but an old classmate interrupted him. Mark, we're seeing you in a new light these days. I always said Mark would be successful, another chimed in. Unlike that other one. Leo, Mark supplied, a smug look on his face. Yeah, that blockhead who was only good for burying his nose in books. He's not even fit to carry Mark's shoes now. Old classmates, people who had once been friendly, now treated me like a ghost, their words dripping with disdain. Enough! Are you finished? Clara suddenly shouted, her voice trembling with anger. She threw her handbag at one of the gossiping classmates. If you can't speak properly, then get out. This is a school, not a place for you to run your mouth. She grabbed my arm, her frustration boiling over. Why are you so quiet? How could you be so useless after living a whole extra lifetime? Don't you ever fight back when people talk down to you? She hissed at me. You're completely hopeless. Miss Clara, a calm voice said. I caught a glimpse of Sophia, making her way through the crowd toward us. I knew she would be upset if she saw Clara holding onto my arm, so I reluctantly took a step back. We have nothing to do with each other in this life. So please stay out of my business. Without waiting for her reaction, I walked straight toward the stage, leaving Clara and Mark standing there with stunned expressions. I calmly unrolled the notes for my speech. It wasn't long, only about 5 minutes, but it was enough to make Mark grind his teeth and Clara's jaw drop in disbelief. When I finished, the principal signaled for Sophia to come up and add a few words. The woman, who had been maintaining a serious and professional demeanor since she arrived, broke into a warm giggle when she saw me. Honey, I've missed you so much, she said, her voice a playful whisper as she gave me a gentle hug on stage. Though the microphone didn't pick up her words, the sentiment seemed to float through the silent auditorium. Below the stage, Clara stood frozen in disbelief. Her legs seemed to give way, and she stumbled, pulling Mark down with her. Bravo! The old principal exclaimed, starting a round of applause. Such a noble sacrifice for your work, Leo. You truly live up to your title as the backbone of the National Science Team. I'm tearing up just listening to you. National Science Team? a classmate whispered. Principal, what does that mean? Leo, weren't you working at that noodle shop? Clara finally found her voice, a mix of confusion and accusation. How are you part of the national science team? And Sophia, what is your relationship with him? The principal seemed just as surprised by her question. I remember Leo sacrificing so much of his time to tutor you. A few of us old teachers were convinced you two would get married one day. I never expected you to end up with Mark. He then turned his attention back to me. After you finish this project, are you planning to marry Sophia? I've been saying for a while that you two aren't kids anymore. Better sooner than later? Why not do it today? I'll host, and you two can just get married right now. I smiled awkwardly at the radiant woman beside me. It can't be rushed, sir. We can't just have a proposal ceremony like this. Because of my work, I already feel like I haven't given Sophia enough. We can't have a proper engagement, so I can't rush the wedding. You kid! The principal said, snatching the speech from my hand. Why can't you get it? Sophia isn't that kind of person. A relationship isn't about ceremony, it's about a lifetime. And besides, Clara and Mark are here. You're all close, so let them be witnesses. Principal, I said firmly, I haven't been in contact with Clara or Mark since we graduated high school. We are strangers now. Strangers? Leo, am I a stranger to you? Clara cried out. When did you even meet Sophia? Are you lying to me? No. How could you fall for someone other than me? For a brief moment, I thought I saw tears in her eyes. The old classmates who had been mocking me earlier now changed their tune. We were blind before. I always said that truly excellent people will always shine, one of them said, shooting a dirty look at Mark. What are you all trying to say? Mark sputtered, his face red with anger. The National Science Team is just a name. Does it make more money than I do? Seeing his former admirers turn on him, he snapped. What's there to be proud of? He's just a pretty boy who got lucky. Leo, these years must have been tough for you, serving the little princess of the richest family. When he saw that his words had no effect on me, he suddenly turned and slapped Clara across the face. This is your fault. You said you lived 2 lifetimes. You said Leo should still be working 4 jobs a day. How did he end up in the National Science Team with Sophia? I don't know, Clara stammered, looking completely lost. What's all this noise? Sophia stepped forward, her voice cutting through the tension. She jogged over, linked her arm with mine, and subtly pushed Clara aside. Allow me to introduce us properly. This is Leo, the youngest captain of the National Science Team. She then smiled brightly. And I'm Sophia Sterling, of the Sterling Group, and Leo's fiancée. Leo, Clara choked out, tears finally streaming down her face. Didn't you say you'd only ever love me? That you'd only marry me? Tell me, what is she doing here? Miss Clara, Sophia said, her voice now sharp and cold. Pointing at people is rude. Leo has a good temper, but I'm not so forgiving. She squinted, dialing a number on her phone, and in a few clipped sentences, canceled all collaborations between the Sterling Group and Mark's company. Shut up! The person I'm asking is Leo, Clara sobbed, completely ignoring Mark, whose face had turned a sickly shade of green. She directed all her desperation at me. Did you plan this? Did you arrange all of this just to make me regret it? Clara, I said, my voice flat. I think my fiancé has already made things very clear. After her relentless provocations, any lingering sentiment I had from our past life was gone. You were reborn, you didn't have a brain transplant. Who you choose to love and marry is your own decision. Why are you looking at someone else's plate when you have your own meal in front of you? Besides, you don't compare to Sophia in any way. Was I blind to have fallen for you twice? We were together for 10 years, she cried, holding up 10 fingers as if to prove a point. You just throw away 10 years of feelings like they're nothing? Don't you have a heart? Oh, so now you remember it's been 10 years? Sophia retorted, unable to stay silent any longer. He sacrificed everything for you. He worked himself to the bone out of guilt for a child you lost, to satisfy your endless desire for material things. He even took on illegal work because he believed Mark's lies. Her voice was filled with a cold fury. And in the end, he died on his way to buy you Valentine's flowers, and you took the compensation money to bail out Mark's failing company. I don't understand how someone can be so heartless. You've really shown me a new level of human selfishness. No, that's not it, Clara whispered, her face ashen. It took her a moment to find her voice. Leo, you told her all of those things? Her eyes pleaded with me. I was just angry back then. Robert told me you were on your way to meet another woman when you died. Clara, don't you think that sounds ridiculous? Sophia shot back. Do you honestly believe Leo would do something like that? You know in your heart that's just an excuse you made up for your own betrayal. Admit it. You can't accept that you're a vain, selfish person, so you've been projecting the blame onto everyone else. Clara turned her gaze back to me, her eyes wide as she took an involuntary step back. Leo, do you really think of me like that? Yes, I said, nodding as I intertwined my fingers with Sophia's. If you had any conscience, you would never have gone to such lengths to find me. We should have gone our separate ways and never contacted each other again. I allowed you and Mark to live your life. Isn't that enough? But you had to be shameless about it. With that said, I turned and led Sophia away, not looking back. Honey, you look so handsome when you stood up for me just now, Sophia murmured as we walked. Are you tired? Dad had the kitchen make ginseng chicken soup, and Mom is planning to cook your favorite meal to celebrate your project ending. Don't think about all this ugliness. How about I wear those bunny pajamas you like tonight? She poked me gently, her tone shifting from teasing to pleading. Come on, smile, please. I couldn't help but laugh as I pulled her close. All right, stop messing around. I'm not thinking about Clara. I let go of the past a long time ago. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to propose to you. It was my fault she felt she had to distract me. I still hadn't given her enough security. Why even think about it? She said brightly. We can just have the driver turn around and go straight to the courthouse. My parents already see you as their son-in-law, and I love you. That's all that matters. The formalities aren't important. I feel like I'm making things too hard for you, Sophia, I said, tucking a stray strand of hair behind her ear before placing a soft kiss on her forehead. You deserve the best of everything. Sometimes I really don't get it, she sighed, resting her head on my shoulder. A good man like you? Why didn't Clara know how to cherish you? But then again, I'm grateful to her. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have met you. She paused, then added, Anyway, you're right. The past is the past. Clara enjoyed the benefits of her past life for years, investing in companies she knew would be successful. But times change. I spread a few rumors, and they took the bait, investing everything into companies that were on the verge of bankruptcy. It's about time to reel in the line. A week later, I was heading into the lab when a haggard-looking Clara stopped me. Leo, I went to your house, but no one was there. I figured you were at the Sterling estate, but I couldn't get past the gate. She must have made a lot of money over the years to track down my address so easily. As for the Sterling estate, I knew about that. Security had been asking about a strange man seen climbing the walls on the surveillance footage. I glanced at her, my expression neutral, but then I noticed her stomach was flat. I was caught off guard. Where is your child? I had an abortion, she stated, her voice devoid of emotion. After I got home that day, Mark and I argued. He kicked me, and it caused a miscarriage. I ended up in the ICU. He didn't fare well either. The company is collapsing, and I reported him to the authorities. He's in custody now. Oh, I said, turning the key in the lab door. Is there anything else? If not, I'll see you out. My stomach hurts, she whispered, her eyes looking wet. Mark said you have Sophia now, so you wouldn't care about me anymore. It seems he was right. In the past, whenever I said I was in pain, you were more anxious than I was. Now, you won't even invite me inside to sit down. Clara, I said, looking at her with genuine surprise. How could you possibly think that? Even without Sophia, I wouldn't care about you. Don't flatter yourself. Leo, I never thought I'd hear you say that, she said, wiping a tear away before letting out a dry, mocking laugh. You've really changed. Clara, if this is just small talk, I don't have the time. Do you have anything else to say? I realized this was probably the first time I had ever spoken to her so harshly. She shrank back, wringing her hands nervously. I just can't accept it. You loved me so much in our past life. Why did you change? Why did you choose Sophia? She said the last two words slowly, as if they were a curse. I didn't understand why she was so fixated on getting an answer from me. When I was first reborn, I thought I was losing my mind. I was studying for my college entrance exams, but my nights were filled with memories of her memories that weren't even sweet. It was during that time, when I was questioning my own sanity, that I met Sophia. She was a senior studying psychology, and she stayed by my side through those long nights, listening to me. I said I liked scientific research, and you deleted my university applications to programs that you said didn't make enough money. I reminded her. Sophia took me to meet mentors and encouraged me to follow my dream. When my parents died, you told me my crying at night disturbed your rest. Sophia was by my side, letting me lean on her shoulder. And the child you were carrying, Clara, you know better than anyone how we lost that baby. I took a deep breath. There was no change of heart. In the beginning, I thought love could conquer anything, but it can't. A one-sided love is even more impossible. Our interests are different. Our needs from life are different. Parting on good terms was the last piece of dignity I could give our memory. Clara was silent, her face pale. I realized something in that moment. In my past life, seeing her like this would have filled me with sympathy. She had been my entire youth. How could I not have resented her? From the moment you came looking for me, I knew you were reborn with memories too, I continued. But you didn't know that my soul was trapped beside you after I died. I watched you and Mark grow old together. Right before you died, you took out an old diary. It was filled with your youthful worries about me and about Mark. In that moment, I finally felt free. The truth is, you never loved anyone. You are simply selfish. No, she cried. Leo, no, I held up a hand to stop her. You don't need to explain anything to me. I don't want to hear it and I don't care to. We both have new lives now. Whether they are good or bad, they are the result of our own choices. Stop causing trouble. Leo, I love you, she whispered desperately. I'm not causing trouble. I just wanted to tell you I love you. I know you don't believe me, but no one ever taught me how to love. I didn't understand my own heart until it was too late. That doesn't matter anymore, I said, standing up and tossing her handbag out the door. Love, hate, it's all too late now. It's just distasteful. That afternoon, Mark's company officially declared bankruptcy. According to Sophia, it was all Clara's doing. She had skillfully diverted all the failing assets into Mark's name, leaving him to take the fall while she played the victim for the press. Online, an anonymous doctor confirmed Clara had come in for an abortion after an assault, and public opinion swelled with sympathy for the woman who had lost everything after dedicating her life to a man who never married her. I scanned the headlines, but felt nothing. Sophia, I said later that evening, I talked with your dad yesterday. We'll get our marriage license first and then have the wedding. What do you think? Destination wedding or a big reception here? I rested my chin on her shoulder. I remember you said you wanted to swim in the Maldives, or we could go to Iceland to see the northern lights. Both are fine, she said, turning to give me a quick kiss. As long as the groom is you, everything is perfect. We spoke of it so casually, but we were both too excited to sleep. Well, after midnight, Sophia suddenly sat up. Leo, we still haven't picked a day to get our license. I glanced at the calendar. It was now Valentine's Day. Why wait? I said. Let's go in a few hours. After breakfast, however, Sophia became uncharacteristically stubborn. Leo, my heart is racing. Today is the 10th anniversary of your rebirth. It's Valentine's Day. The memories I had tried so hard to bury rushed back. It was on this day, in my previous life, that I was stabbed to death. I had always suspected Mark hired someone, but it was just a terrible coincidence. A chain of events set in motion by my desperation to win Clara back. It's all in the past, I said, gently comforting her. That was another life. My life ended on this day in the past, but the future is still unwritten. I can't just hide at home forever. I smiled, trying to lighten the mood. Besides, I can't wait to marry you. I'm getting tired of all the people trying to get your number every time we go out to eat. Without a proper marriage certificate, I'm about to die from jealousy. Sophia finally relented. All right, fine. We'll go out, but I'm bringing more bodyguards. And after we get our license, we are coming straight home. Yes, ma'am, I said, putting her coat on her. On the way there, my own heart was pounding, a mix of pre-wedding nerves and the lingering shadow of the past. It wasn't until the 2 red marriage certificates were placed in our hands that I finally felt like I could breathe. Help! Someone stop that lunatic. He has a knife. Call for help. In an instant, Sophia pulled me behind her. My eyes widened in shock. I saw Mark, his expression twisted and grotesque, staggering toward us, but he wasn't looking at me. He was looking at Clara, who had apparently followed us there. Before anyone could react, he lunged, stabbing her several times. I told you not to lie to me, he screamed, his voice raw. You bankrupted me, and now you're here getting married? It's your fault, Clara. You ruined my life. Just die. Before he could raise the knife again, he was shot by the police who had been guarding us. Help! Someone save her! People shouted, rushing forward after the gunshot. Where is the family? Is there anyone related to the patient here? A paramedic asked, kneeling beside Clara. What? Leo? Is that his name? Clara gasped, looking at me. Please, contact him. I turned and saw Sophia give me a slight understanding nod. I walked over to Clara's side. I'm Leo, I said to the paramedic. But I'm not her family. The moment I spoke, Clara began coughing up blood. Don't. Save me, she rasped, her voice a faint whisper. Leo, I don't want to live anymore. Tell them. Not to save me. If I die, we could start over, right? She tried to lift her hand, to reach for me. Leo, I know my mistake now. Please, give me another chance. As they lifted her onto the stretcher, I stepped back. There won't be another chance, Clara, I said quietly. Your life is your own. Whether you live or die is up to you. Then, without looking back, I walked over to Sophia. I thought you were going to go with her to the hospital, she said softly. She's a stranger. I did what I could. I looked down at my hands, and Sophia gently wiped a speck of blood from my skin. She suddenly pulled me into a fierce embrace, her tears flowing freely. Leo, I'm so glad you're okay. God, I was so worried when he came in. I thought he was after you. Silly girl. I held her tightly, wishing I could absorb her into myself. I knew she had secretly gone to a temple, praying for my safety. I knew the police who had been so quick to respond were the plainclothes officers she had hired. She hadn't slept properly for 2 weeks, all because she was worried about me. I sighed, all the words I wanted to say condensing into 3. Wife, I said, my voice thick with emotion, let's go home.